You probably know cortisol as your stress hormone, and like estrogen, it gets a bad rap. So, today I'm going to clear up some of the confusion and cover why this hormone is so important, but also why it can be a problem when it's out of balance, especially in perimenopause. But before I dive in, this episode cannot be any more timely as I just finished cleaning up massive amounts of diarrhea and vomit on our living room area rug, brought to you by Dawson, my dog. The love of my life. He is lucky that he is so damn cute because, like I've said before, he is a freaking handful. Cleaning up all of his bodily fluids and having to throw out yet another rug is not how I plan to start my busy Monday, but here we are, and 'tis life, right? Shit happens, literally. We really do need to learn how to control how we react to all of the stressors in our lives. All right, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is cortisol? So, cortisol is a hormone that is produced by your adrenal glands, and it's often referred to as the stress hormone. It plays a major role in how we respond to stress, but it's also involved in regulating our metabolism, immune system. It helps manage your body's inflammatory response, supports blood sugar regulation, and plays a role in maintaining healthy blood pressure levels. Cortisol also helps your body adapt to physical and emotional stress by increasing glucose availability, which provides the energy that you need to cope with stressful situations. So, an example of this is, let's say your child runs into the street. No matter how tired you are, you suddenly have the energy to run as fast as you can to save your kid. That burst of energy is cortisol and adrenaline working together, giving you the strength and the focus that you need in that high stress moment. Essentially, that's cortisol helping you become super mom, even when you think you don't have the energy to do it. Additionally, cortisol supports your body's ability to respond to injury or infection by modulating immune function. So, in a nutshell, cortisol helps you manage energy, inflammation, and keeps your body functioning efficiently through times of stress. So, even though cortisol gets a bad rap, it is essential for survival. When you're under stress, it prepares your body for a fight or flight response, increasing your heart rate, raising your blood sugar, and improving alertness. These responses are crucial in a life-threatening situation. The problem, though, is that while cortisol is designed to help in short bursts, modern day living often keeps us in a constant state of stress. And that is where things start to get tricky. Like any hormone, cortisol is beneficial in balanced amounts. Too much or too little can cause some serious health issues. So, when cortisol is too high for extended periods, it can lead to anxiety, weight gain, especially around the belly, sleep disturbances, and an overall suppressed immune system. If you are somebody who gets sick a lot, you likely have cortisol dysregulation. On the flip side, if cortisol is too low, you may feel really sluggish, tired, and unmotivated. This can cause issues with blood pressure regulation, immune function as well, and can contribute to chronic fatigue. So, what causes cortisol to become dysregulated? There are several factors, but the most common ones are, you guessed it, chronic stress, poor sleep, blood sugar dysregulation, and hormonal fluctuations, especially those that we're experiencing in perimenopause. All of these things can cause your body to release cortisol at the wrong times or in the wrong amounts. Another major factor is a nervous system that is stuck in fight or flight mode. If your body is constantly feeling unsafe or stressed, cortisol stays elevated. Please go back and listen to my last two episodes where I dug into nervous system. Now, let's talk about testing cortisol because this is where a lot of confusion happens. Cortisol is often tested via blood work, but there's a problem with this. Cortisol can spike in response to stress, right? We just learned that. And you can feel stress just from getting the blood draw or the traffic on the way to the lab, or maybe you had an argument that morning with your teenager before you got tested. It is so incredibly sensitive. So that means that you may see artificially high levels that don't reflect your baseline. Now, saliva testing is another popular option. You've probably seen a lot of online providers offer this. But it's not perfect either. While saliva can show cortisol levels at specific times of the day, it doesn't necessarily reflect how well your body is handling stress long term. And if you have any minor cuts or sores in your mouth, which is actually really common, that can even impact your results. So the most accurate method is a 24-hour urine test, but it can be really expensive. And let's be real, most people don't want to deal with it. And quite frankly, your money is better spent elsewhere. I believe testing for cortisol can be a bit pointless, especially when we have a pretty clear picture of when someone's cortisol is out of whack. If you are feeling sluggish in the morning, even after sleeping, or if you're tired but wired at night and can't fall asleep, that is a pretty sure sign that your cortisol is not regulated. Other symptoms that you may experience are racing mind, constant worry, anxiety, being emotionally reactive, and not being able to relax. Basically every woman who comes to work with me and my team. These are all indicators that your cortisol is likely dysregulated, and we don't need a test to tell us that. So this is why we focus so much on nervous system support and circadian rhythm optimization with our clients. I spoke about that in those 2 previous episodes that I mentioned. If your nervous system is stuck in a constant fight or flight mode, your body is going to continue releasing cortisol at the wrong times. Listen, I know that it's hard to break some of our habits, especially when so many of us are on our phones, computers, or binging Netflix at night. Oh my gosh, Mike and I are watching The Better Sister right now. I think it's on Prime, and it's probably not a good idea to be watching that at night. We don't typically do that, but it's just really good. And sometimes we just want to watch a show at night, but then my sleep is impacted. And I'm like, why am I watching a show about a woman's husband who was murdered at night before I go to sleep? Don't be like me. While technology has its perks, it can really mess with our hormones, especially when we're exposed to bright screens right before bed. So if you use your phone or a laptop at night, try switching them to night mode or using a red background. If you have an iPhone, it's called night shift. Now, if you're watching TV, like I do sometimes, try dimming the screen so it's not so bright, and consider wearing blue light blocking glasses. I'm going to link to a couple of brands in the show notes. So these small changes can really support your body's natural rhythms and help reduce cortisol dysregulation. So why is cortisol such a big deal in perimenopause? Like you've heard me say before, as progesterone declines and estrogen fluctuates, cortisol becomes more likely to spike or get out of balance. These hormonal shifts affect how your body responds to stress and, of course, impacts your sleep. Then you add in blood sugar dysregulation, which is a very common issue in perimenopause, and you've got the perfect storm for cortisol issues. This is why how and what you eat in this phase of life is so damn important. A lot of women complain that they have to eat protein and they have to learn about macronutrients. But if you want to feel better, I highly suggest you put your big girl panties on and get your protein and fiber in at all meals, because you will start to feel better. And of course, if you need help with any of this, we are here to support you. My team and I are experts at what we do. We have helped hundreds of women in the perimenopause method by utilizing hair tissue mineral analysis, HTMA, to look at mineral imbalances, which can directly impact your stress response. We also focus on blood sugar regulation, inflammation markers through proper blood work, or GI testing, and other factors that impact your nervous system. We also educate and guide you on hormone replacement therapy, which can play a big role in supporting your cortisol levels. Now, you've likely seen cortisol lowering supplements or adaptogens like ashwagandha or holy basil, and maybe a provider recommended them to you. While these may be helpful in the short term, and we've used them periodically with some clients, they don't address the causes of cortisol dysregulation. It's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on and just masking the symptoms. To truly manage cortisol, we need to focus on why it's dysregulated. Again, it's the stress in your life, lack of boundaries, resentment, unprocessed trauma, not trusting yourself, not believing that you can heal, being overly critical towards yourself, hormone shifts that are happening in midlife, nutrient imbalances, and of course, our lifestyle habits. Finally, if you are experiencing extreme fatigue, unexplained drastic weight changes, or other severe symptoms, it may be worth seeing an endocrinologist. They can rule out conditions like Addison's or Cushing's disease, which are cortisol disorders that need to be treated. So there you have it. Everything you need to know about cortisol, why it gets dysregulated, and how to support it naturally, especially during perimenopause. If you suspect that you're dealing with cortisol issues, which I'm going to assume you are if you're listening to this podcast, remember that testing can sometimes give you a false sense of security, may not be accurate, and your symptoms are what truly tell the story. If you're ready to take control of your health, consider joining us in the perimenopause method, where we dig deeper into hormone balance, nervous system support, and practical lifestyle changes that help women feel their best. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you found this helpful, please do share it with a friend or post it on Instagram and tag me at Health Coach Claudia. I love to see you finding value in the show. Until next time. Before you go, I want to mention something that may be helpful for some of you listening. If you've been dealing with low energy, mood changes, sleep issues, or stubborn weight in midlife, but you're not looking for a full program, I've created something really special for you. My Midlife Energy, Mood, and Metabolism Deep Dive is designed to help uncover the physiological patterns that often sit underneath those frustrating symptoms without committing to a multi-month container. You'll get an HTMA, hair tissue mineral analysis, a personalized plan, and private session so that you can stop guessing, make smarter decisions, and finally start to feel good. If you'd like more details, you can find everything in the show notes. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.